After taking Poland, Germany's next target was France. But before invading France, Hitler had to solve one critical problem. It wasn't manpower, and it wasn't oil. It was iron. Germany needed to import massive amounts of iron ore from Sweden every year. In summer, that was straightforward. Ore shipped out of Sweden's Luleå port, crossed the Baltic Sea, and arrived directly at German ports. But in winter, the northern Baltic froze over. The ore had to be transported by rail from Sweden to Narvik, an ice-free port on Norway's west coast, then shipped down Norway's coastal waters into Germany. If that supply line was cut, German weapons production would grind to a halt. The Germans knew how critical this route was. So did the British. Shortly after World War II broke out in 1939, Britain had already considered mining Norway's coastal waters to cut off the supply line, but shelved the idea due to Norwegian opposition. Then in November 1939, the Soviet Union invaded Finland. Britain and France quietly began planning to send troops to Finland.
Gentlemen, the Soviets have invaded Finland. Thousands of innocent people are suffering. We must send aid.
Absolutely. What do you propose?
We send an expeditionary force through Norway up to Narvik, then across to Finland.
That route goes directly through the Swedish iron ore fields.
Yes, we'd have to secure them along the way.
And hold them.
When Hitler got word of this, he panicked. This had nothing to do with helping Finland. It was obviously a move aimed straight at his iron ore. If Britain's plan succeeded, Germany was in serious trouble. So Hitler decided to strike first and seize Norway before Britain could get there. But between Norway and Germany sat Denmark, Germany's overland supply lifeline to Norway. Taking Norway meant taking Denmark at the same time. In the early hours of April 9, 1940, German forces launched simultaneous attacks on both Denmark and Norway. Faced with the sudden invasion, Denmark held out for just 6 hours before surrendering. At the same time, Norwegian forces were caught completely off guard. By the end of the first day, Germany had seized all of Norway's major ports and airfields. But Norway didn't surrender. Its forces pulled back inland and kept fighting. On April 14th, British and French forces began landing in Norway in stages. Just as Allied forces in the north had pushed the Germans back and captured the port of Narvik on the verge of a decisive victory, on May 10, 1940, Germany launched Case Yellow on the Western Front, unleashing a blitzkrieg assault on France and the Low Countries. The French defensive line collapsed rapidly. Allied forces were compressed back to the port of Dunkirk, and the entire situation in Western Europe deteriorated fast. Allied forces in Norway were urgently recalled. 1 month later, Norway formally ceased resistance. The entire country had fallen.